Welcome to Dr. Fred Markets. This is not financial advice. While most people ignore what's happening in the markets, a few choose to pay attention. And that difference, that simple choice to stay informed, changes everything. You're one of them. Let's get into it.
Your safe job is now riskier than buying whiskey casks. U.S. job growth just ripped past forecasts again, handing the Fed every excuse to keep rates high or even hike. Wage pressure plus sticky services inflation equals higher for longer as the new religion. Translation, your 60-40 portfolio just aged 10 years in one quarter. Meanwhile, the rare whiskey market quietly printed over 400% total returns in the decade before 2020, with top bottles auctioning like fine art. While you panic about Nvidia dropping 6% and the S&P down over 2%, some lunatic in Scotland is watching his warehouse of brown liquid outpace your retirement account. Signal 1. The labor market refuses to break. Every hot payroll number torches the dream of cheap money returning soon. When yields stay high, multiples compress. Nvidia at $205, down more than 6% on the day, is not an isolated tantrum. It's duration risk getting punched in the face. Signal 2. Assets with no cash flow, but brutal scarcity, behave like inflation assassins. Blue-chip whiskey casks, limited-run wine, and museum-grade bottles trade less like consumer goods, more like micro-cap real estate on steroids. There are no quarterly earnings calls. Just evaporation, age, and people willing to pay stupid money to taste time. Signal 3. This jobs report chains the Fed to its chair, and your bond-heavy, safe plan to a slow bleed. When the cost of money stays high but real-world assets are finite, capital hunts for things that ignore the Fed. Land, private credit, niche collectibles. Your index fund just became the boomer table stakes. The cliff. Almost nobody realizes you can structure whiskey exposure like a bond ladder. Here's the connection. The same macro pressure that crushes speculative tech and levered garbage actually boosts the appeal of slow, illiquid, scarcity-based assets that age better than your knees. High rates hurt expansion stories. They do nothing to a barrel of 10-year single malt moving toward 18. In fact, they purge tourists from the market, leaving real collectors and long-horizon capital. You were trained to think job growth good, stocks go up. That script died when inflation woke up. Now, job growth hot, Fed stays hawkish, multiples shrink. So if you stay in only public growth stocks, you're playing a game wired against you every time payroll's surprised to the upside. Whiskey is not magic. It's a math problem. Barrels sit in bonded warehouses. Angel's share evaporates. Supply literally leaks away. Every year, the number of intact, older barrels shrinks. If global demand for premium spirits grows even slowly, the price pressure concentrates on a smaller and smaller pool. That's an intrinsic scarcity machine, not a marketing slogan.
Let's pause for a second. Ask yourself this. Do you really understand what's happening in the markets right now? Do you know how this affects your money, your savings, your future? Most people don't, and that's exactly why you're here. Let's keep going.
Here's the one thing you didn't know. A properly structured whiskey cask portfolio behaves like a weird hybrid of tips and venture capital. Your maturity is age. Buy into younger barrels. Exit as they cross key age thresholds, 8, 12, 18 years, where distillers and bottlers pay up. Your coupon is the increasing value per liter as age and rarity climb. The risk is real, fraud, storage, regulation, but the growth path is not pegged to the Fed. Meanwhile, the market is throwing a tantrum. S&P off over 2.5%, Nvidia slapped. Bitcoin drifting just under $61, Ethereum bleeding. Everyone is scrambling for another AI ticker or crypto narrative to bail them out. That's herd brain. Real investors zoom out and ask, where does capital quietly compound while CNBC screams about rate hikes? So here's your brutal conclusion. Your W-2 and your vanilla portfolio are both tied to the same macro throat. One jobs print, one Fed speech, and they choke together. If you want real diversification, you need something that ages on its own clock, in its own warehouse, under its own rules. Not correlated noise. Actual different. What do you do with this? First, treat whiskey like a satellite, not a core. High risk, low liquidity. You research platforms, storage, insurance, and exit markets the same ruthless way you'd underwrite private credit. No romance, just numbers. Second, map it to your time horizon. If you're 30 with a 20-year runway, an allocation into younger casks you plan to roll at 8 to 12, 18 years is rational speculation. If you're 60 and need liquidity next year, this is not your toy. Third, understand the macro hedge. Hot jobs data means the Fed keeps your cash safe and slowly murdered by inflation. Scarce, aging physical assets give you a shot at stepping outside that script. Not guaranteed riches, but exposure to a different game board. This is not financial advice, but here is the truth. If all your wealth lives in assets priced daily by the same fear of Jerome Powell, you are not diversified, you are deluded. Learn one weird, illiquid market deeply, whiskey, wine, art, and make it earn its spot next to your index funds. 3 takeaways. 1. Strong job numbers now punish your portfolio because they lock in higher rates. 2. Scarcity assets like aging whiskey follow time and chemistry, not Fed pressers. 3. Your job and your portfolio share the same macro risk unless you deliberately step into a different cycle. You want more of this? Hit subscribe. Tomorrow, we're not praying to the Fed. We're dissecting the next lie your retirement plan lives on. This is not financial advice. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel and check the links in the first comment below.
That's it for today on Dr. Fred Markets. I hope this gave you clarity and a new perspective. Remember, this is not financial advice. Always do your own research. If you found this useful, subscribe. It's free and it helps the channel grow. Find me on the blog at drfredmarkets.com and join the newsletter via the link in bio. I'm Dr. Fred Markets. See you in the next one.